It's probably not the most welcoming city in Poland, according to the only skyscraper they have, city of hundreds of bridges, city that witnessed the beer war, a city of 3.5 tons of a painting, and finally a city that connects me, Frank Delano Roosevelt, and graffiti, a city that some Polish people consider non-Polish anymore. Welcome to Wrocław, Breslau, a German name, the capital of Silesian region. Let's have a look how can I get through the city with a wheelchair. Let's go. I don't think people like this place. I mean, it's empty. It's Thursday evening. The dome of the century. Behold, the hole of a century. It was built around 1913 with that 65 meters of a dome. It was the largest one in the world at the time. That's impressive. They actually built it before they were meant to finish. What a surprise, isn't it? It's not really happening anymore. So when they built it, they were really concerned it would collapse. But as you can see, it didn't. What a genius, isn't it? An architect that created it, Maximilian Berg, I believe. He's really famous in this region. He was, actually. And not only this region, but all around the world. They do have a Japanese garden back there, but I'm not really willing to watch some Japanese plants. Why would I? I have my own plants on my own garden. So I guess it's time to find better spots in Wrocław. Oh my god. This one's quite interesting, to be honest. Some may say it looks shit. It actually does. But a bit of paint, a bit of power wash would do the job. It actually serves as a garage and a storage room for the locals. And right now I am local because I found myself a flat around here. But anyways, new day, new me. I came to Wrocław yesterday. I've been to Ostrów Tumski, the cathedral. And what Ostrów Tumski means, in short words, it's a cathedral surrounded by the river, lake, whatever, by the water, being on an island. So I've been showing you one in Poznań, the cathedral on an island. Not really an island, but you know, it's surrounded by the river from both sides. There's one in here, in Wrocław. There's one in Głogów, another city. Maybe I'll visit it one day. What else? There was a guy lighting the lanterns. He does it every day. The gas ones, not electric ones. I thought I would just record him, and I mean I did. But I thought I'll be there like alone, one by one with this guy. No, there were tons of tourists running behind him, watching every single lantern that he starts. And there's like 90 of them. Let's just find some better spots. Let's go to the city center. Welcome to Wrocław city center. Before I tell you the story about Wrocław, I'd like to point one thing out. Actually, they renovated the city center actually, and I can tell by the milled cobblestone in here. But they didn't mill the whole city center, the city square. They did it only around. So the center of the city market is like the bumpy old cobblestone, and this one's flat. I don't fully understand why. Like, what's the reason of stopping mid-work, right? But anyway, this is it. Wrocław city center, one of the oldest cities in Poland. The city has its right to be called a city since around 1200. But according to the maps made by Roman Claudius Ptolemaeus, I probably don't pronounce it very well, that he made around a year 140, right in the place of today's Wrocław, was a city called Budorgis. And I probably mispronounced it as well. I don't think no Roman emperor will call it Budorgis. Or maybe they did, I don't know. So let's have a look what the city has to offer. If you ever wondered what defenestration means, you're in the right place. But we probably need to go there for a better picture. Because it happened in here. Defenestration is a process of throwing something or someone out of the window. Hansel and Gretel, or Gretel and Hansel, whatever. Saint Elizabeth Basilica behind it. A funny story, and I'll tell you about it in a sec. Let's get in. This one's interesting, because it happened in here. In 1418, the local people were quite mad with the government, with local authorities. They took all the wooden equipment they had, and they went to the city hall to explain their concerns. So what happened basically was, they broke in and they started throwing all the people inside outside. And that's what's called defenestration. But 2 years after, where all the trials ended, they decided to execute the people. So they did. They've cut their heads off, and apparently they buried the bodies on a cemetery. That's around here. But in order to humiliate those people even more, they actually buried the bodies in here on the way to the church, so that everyone that's coming to a church is stepping on those bodies. So here we are, probably stepping, or riding in my case, on top of those bodies. They probably removed it already with the whole cemetery, right? But they still got the lesson served. Slaughtered animal monument. And I'm willing to slaughter myself if I'll have to use the surface ever again. But they're all brilliant, all of those. I'm not picky. Using sidewalks in the city should be forbidden by law. What a bumpy. So this is the place where University of Wrocław building starts. But let me show you something. And this is where it ends. But if they would go around 50 meters from here, there would be the world record for the longest Baroque building in the world. And it was a plan. So what they planned for the building is for it to be 220 meters long. The longest Baroque? How should I pronounce it? Anyways, the longest Baroque building in the world. But the Silesian War started, a couple of those actually, and they've reduced it to 170 meters. What a bad idea it was. 2,000 professors, 30,000 students, all of them around here, mostly here. This building is truly incredible. The funny thing about Wrocław is that in historical center of the Wrocław you can get a historical building. A modern building. And a communist legacy. A communist bloc. Three breweries they have in the city hall, in the city market, like in the center of the city. This is a real brewery. They have tons of beers, they're producing it in here. How awesome is that, right? Three of those in the city market. Another brewery in the city center. We're going for the food, but it's not going to be, oh, I almost died. It's not going to be a fish and chips. It's not what we're here for. We're here for something way better. Follow me. You probably wonder, what is this? Like those dwarfs made of some kind of metal. The story is, it actually started in 2001. Someone just put one in the city center. Right now there's over 300, as I believe. 300 of those little dwarfs. So yeah, whenever you come to Wrocław, just find 300 of those, and you will still probably miss some of those. There's a wheelchair one. Just have a look. The Świdnicka Cellars. The oldest restaurant in Poland, for sure. In the world, most likely. This restaurant operates since year 1273, with a little bit of a break when Hitler decided to visit the city. Literally the oldest one in Poland when it comes to still operating ones. The oldest one in the world. How awesome is that? Sadly, I'm not a rich influencer yet. This one's expensive, for my level obviously. But yeah, definitely worth visiting. How awesome is that? And it's called Cellars for a reason. It's in the basement, right? I'm not getting in. They do have a bit of a garden outside, but still, with steps. So this time I'm quite lucky, I can't even get in. I don't think I could afford the bill. Oh my god. Me. I hate the city. You may wonder, what does Adolf Hitler, this hotel, and Pope John Paul II had in common? Not much. They both had a speech from the balcony of this hotel, but they've built a balcony only for one of them. Guess which one was it? It was July 1997. The flood of a century, or even a millennium, happened in here, in Wrocław. And the water reached that spot. 44 kilometers of roads being destroyed. 2,500 buildings were flooded. Over 20 bridges were destroyed. The repair cost was around 99.2% of a year's budget of Wrocław. A crazy tragedy happened. Can you imagine the water level? That's just beyond recognition, right? If you want to know what President of the United States, me, and Wrocław has in common, just follow me. It's disgusting. No. No. Oh. Jesus. I'm in the jungle. At least they've made a ramp for me. Jesus. It's 40 degrees. Yeah, this view is going to be perfect for the finale. Lovely. I do believe I should have picked a better spot, better bridge, but I've extended that stand higher so I can see it from top. City of bridges. Wrocław is the third one when it comes to bridges. There's 120 of them in a city, and there were over 300 before the Second World War. I guess Germans didn't like bridges, so they destroyed most of those. Anyways, my journey comes to an end. It truly is a beautiful city, but they do have horrible roads. And by horrible, I mean most of the time I had to look down in order to survive. I didn't fail, but I was really close to it. Because I swear, most of those roads and pathways, sidewalks, were in a disgusting condition. As in Europe, only, I believe, Venice and Amsterdam having more bridges than Wrocław itself. So I would say Wrocław is like a Venice, a Polish Venice, except there's more kebabs and żabki than pizzerias and cafeterias. And I do have a theory what happened to the roads in Wrocław. It's either World War II or beer wars. Because the city witnessed beer wars in the year 1380, and it all started when Rupert sent some beer barrels to his brother in Wrocław. Those barrels were stopped by the guards. So what Bishop did, he literally hexed the city, he cursed the city, and in return, the king of Czech, allowed to plunder everything that belonged to the church. So church became a victim of a beer war. How crazy is that, right? Anyways, as I said before, the city is lovely, all those old buildings. I'm really happy that I visited it. Yeah, I believe that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever, and I'll be happy to see you in the next week. Goodbye.